Ladies and gentlemen, we all have dreams, those visions of what could be, born from a place deep within us. Some are loud and clear, while others are quiet whispers we're almost afraid to admit, even to ourselves. But here's the beautiful truth: our dreams are not accidents. They are planted in us by a divine hand, a blessing from God to remind us of what's possible when we trust in Him. Faith and vulnerability. At first glance, these two words might seem to sit at opposite ends of the spectrum. Faith feels strong, unwavering, a conviction in the unseen. Vulnerability, on the other hand, is often misunderstood as weakness, fragility, or exposure. But if we look deeper, we find that the two are inseparable. Faith requires vulnerability. It demands that we embrace uncertainty, take risks, and trust in something greater than ourselves. When we dream, we step into the unknown. Dreams are acts of hope, the belief in a future that doesn't yet exist. But here's the truth: dreaming makes us vulnerable. It means putting our desires, our efforts, and our deepest selves out into the world with no guarantee of success. It means risking failure, criticism, and disappointment. Yet it is precisely in this vulnerability that faith finds its power. Faith is what allows us to move forward despite the risks, believing that God's blessings will guide us. Faith doesn't eliminate vulnerability, it transforms it. It takes the fear of the unknown and replaces it with trust. It takes the weight of what if I fail and replaces it with what if this is exactly what I'm meant to do. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, one that requires us to confront our doubts, our fears, and the voice inside that says we're not enough. Here's where the divine truth comes in: God doesn't call us to be perfect. He doesn't ask us to have it all figured out. He calls us to trust Him, even when we don't have the answers. Faith is not about certainty, it's about believing in His plan, even when the road ahead is unclear. Vulnerability is what allows us to say, I don't know how this will turn out, but I trust that God's blessings are at work. Think about the people in your life who inspire you the most. Are they the ones who pretend to have it all together, or are they the ones who show up, flaws and all, and say, I'm doing my best and I'm trusting God to handle the rest? True faith doesn't demand perfection, it invites authenticity. And authenticity is born from vulnerability. In the moments when we feel most uncertain, most exposed, and most unsure of our path, faith gives us the courage to keep going. Vulnerability is not a sign that we lack faith, it's a sign that we're stepping into the unknown with trust in our hearts. God doesn't promise a life free of challenges. Instead, He promises to walk with us through every high and every low. It's in the moments of greatest vulnerability that His blessings often shine the brightest. Vulnerability also invites connection. When we share our struggles and dreams with others, we create space for community and support. Faith is not a solitary journey, it is one we walk together, lifting one another up when the weight feels too heavy to bear alone. And when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable in our faith, we show others what it means to trust God wholeheartedly. Faith and vulnerability, far from being opposites, are two sides of the same coin. Together, they invite us to step boldly into the unknown, knowing that we are not alone. They remind us that courage is not the absence of fear, it's the willingness to move forward despite it. And they teach us that God's blessings often come when we dare to trust Him with our whole hearts, even in our most uncertain moments. There is a moment in every dreamer's life when the question arises, am I worthy of this dream? It's a quiet, often unspoken doubt that sneaks in when we're least expecting it. We wonder if we have what it takes, if we're good enough, if the dream planted in our hearts is too big for someone like us. But let me remind you of a profound truth: if the dream exists within you, it's there for a reason. Dreams are not random, they are divine whispers placed in our hearts by God to guide us toward our purpose. We live in a world that often ties worthiness to achievement. We're told that we must prove ourselves, earn our place, and validate our dreams by succeeding in the eyes of others. But worthiness is not something we earn, it is something we already have. It is inherent, given to us by God, who sees us as whole and capable even when we feel broken or inadequate. The size of our dream doesn't diminish our worth. In fact, it's a testament to the greatness within us. Yet so many of us let fear and shame keep us from pursuing what's in our hearts. We tell ourselves stories about why our dreams are impossible. We think, I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough. I failed before, why should I try again? These thoughts are the voice of shame, not truth, and shame thrives on silence. But when we speak our dreams out loud and claim them as worthy, we begin to see the light of God's truth: we are enough. The worthiness of our dreams is not just about achieving something for ourselves. It's about stepping into the calling God has placed on our lives. Your dream, no matter how personal or specific, has the potential to impact others in ways you may not even realize. The courage it takes to pursue a dream inspires those around you. It shows others what's possible when we trust in God and believe in the purpose He has given us. Let's also remember that worthiness doesn't mean perfection. So often we wait to pursue our dreams until we feel ready, until we have every skill perfected or every detail figured out. But perfection is not a prerequisite for purpose. God doesn't call the perfect, He calls the willing. He takes our imperfections and uses them to shape us, to teach us, and to remind us that His strength is made perfect in our weakness. The road to fulfilling a dream will not always be easy. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt, but these are not signs that we are unworthy. On the contrary, they are opportunities for growth and resilience. God's blessings are often found in the lessons we learn along the way, in the strength we gain when we rise after falling. When we embrace the worthiness of our dreams, we also embrace the worthiness of our own stories. Every success, every failure, every moment of doubt contributes to the person we are becoming. Your dream is not just a destination, it's a journey of becoming the person God has created you to be. When you trust in the worthiness of your dream, you trust in the one who gave it to you. You trust that your dream is not too big or too small, but exactly what is meant for you. It's a reminder that you are capable, you are chosen, and you are worthy. No doubt. It's a feeling we've all encountered at some point in our lives. It sneaks in during moments of uncertainty, whispering questions like, what if I'm not enough? What if I fail? What if this isn't meant for me? Doubt is a part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to define us. In fact, it's in the face of doubt that resilience is born, a quiet, steady strength that grows when we choose to keep moving forward despite our fears. Resilience is not about eliminating doubt, it's about learning to walk alongside it without letting it dictate our path. Doubt may be loud, but it is not truth. Doubt tells us that the obstacles in front of us are too big to overcome, but resilience reminds us that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow, learn, and prove our strength. One of the most important lessons about resilience is that it doesn't require us to have all the answers. Resilience is not perfection, it's persistence. It's the willingness to take one small step forward, even when the way ahead feels unclear. It's about trusting that with each step, clarity and strength will come. Resilience also requires us to embrace failure, not as the end of the story, but as part of the process. We often view failure as a confirmation of our doubts, but in truth, failure is a teacher. It shows us where we need to grow, where we need to adapt, and where we need to lean into our faith. Failure is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign that we are trying, learning, and daring greatly. When doubt feels overwhelming, it's easy to believe that we are alone in our struggles. But resilience flourishes in connection. Sharing our doubts and challenges with others invites support, encouragement, and perspective. It reminds us that we're not alone, and it strengthens our resolve to keep going. Resilience doesn't mean we have to carry the weight of our struggles by ourselves. It's about leaning on our faith, our community, and the belief that we are stronger together. At its core, resilience is about faith. It's about trusting that even in the face of doubt, there is a purpose to our struggles. It's about believing that setbacks are not signs that we're on the wrong path, but are part of the journey we are meant to walk. Resilience invites us to see doubt not as an enemy, but as a reminder of our humanity and an opportunity to strengthen our trust in God's plan. Every step forward, no matter how small, builds resilience. Every time we rise after a setback, we remind ourselves that we are capable of more than we thought. Doubt may test us, but resilience transforms us. It gives us the strength to see challenges as stepping stones, not barriers. It reminds us that we are never defined by our doubts, but by the faith and courage we bring to overcome them. Resilience is not a destination, it's a practice. It's choosing to show up every day, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. It's choosing faith over fear and trust over doubt. It's believing that even in our hardest moments, we are being shaped for something greater. In conclusion, faith, vulnerability, worthiness, and resilience are not just abstract ideas, they are the cornerstones of a life fully lived. They remind us that our dreams are not accidents, that our struggles are not without purpose, and that our worth is never in question. When we embrace vulnerability, we unlock courage. When we affirm our worthiness, we step into our purpose. And when we face doubt with resilience, we rise stronger, trusting in God's blessings to guide us every step of the way. Let us hold on to these truths as we pursue our dreams, knowing that we are divinely equipped for the journey ahead.